1 minute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the well. I'm off center here. Let me just scoot over a little bit. There we go. Welcome to the well. It's your boy, Pastor Ramon, aka Pastor Ray. And listen, right beside me, you can't see it, but it's Pastor Tay and 3J, and then also Brennen B is on with us. But listen, I just want to do an introduction and let you know you are in the right place to be. If you're watching, go ahead and speak and let us know that you're here. I see that Miss Nikki is on. I see that Maniki is on. And I know that my grandmother's probably watching. So good evening to all the people who are with us. This is the Well Encounter. So if you're watching, make sure that you like it. Make sure you comment that you're here. And make sure you share it on your page or share it to your friends. We're also on YouTube, so you can send that link to your friends and let them know what's happening. What is the Well? It is a creative arts conscious awareness faith community. And you are a part of it because you can interact with us. We love that about the Well. Everybody matters. Every voice matters. Your voice matters. Listen, we have a great topic. This is the end of July encounter for you. This is our last encounter of July, and then we'll be back in August of our hot holy summer theme. And the series of today's topic is Limit, Love, Sacrifice. Limit, love, sacrifice. We're talking about, does love require sacrifice? Are there limits on love? Listen, we want everything we do here. That's why we pick these topics. We want everything we do to lead you down the path of the 5 P's. What are those P's? Everything we do should lead you down the path of those 5 P's. Peace, promise, power, purpose, and passion. Peace, power, promise, purpose, and passion. Anything that we do should lead you down the road to any of these P's. So I hope that you're able to find those P's in your life. We want you to encounter the Well, become the Well, and then emerge and share the Well. We don't want to keep all this goodness to ourselves. It's a lot of goodness in here, and we want you to lift up and share that goodness with the rest of the world. Listen, with all that said, remember to like, remember to comment, remember to share. I see that Helen and Ellis is watching, so good evening, Helen Ellis. Good evening, all the folks that are with us. I know we got more people to come. Go ahead and share this, let people know. I'll probably tag a few people in a minute. And shout out to Amplify Network, who is always gracious enough to host us. And let's bring in our panel of Wellians.
Wellians. We'll get there on the show.
The Wellians. I don't know where I got that from. Brennan, don't look like that.
My fellow Wellian.
I was looking for who he was calling the Wellian. I didn't approve that name.
Listen, Brennen B, you were out last week, man. I know that you had a loss in your family, so we're just glad to have you back, man.
Definitely. Sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, man. Glad to be back. I was actually about to drop in the comments, I'm back, fam.
Pastor Tay, what's going on with you, man? You want to share anything with the people?
Just blessed, man. Definitely blessed. About to celebrate a birthday this weekend, so just getting ready for that, to be 1 year older, 1 year wiser, 1 year stronger. So I thank God for that. And Church Minded Matter every Sunday, Blazing Radio. Download the Blazing Radio app from 2 to 4.
That's it. Listen, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Walter Lundy, who is our partner with the One Love Life Center. Me, Dr. Lundy, and Pastor Tay are all part of the One Life Center, and 3J is a part of that as well. I mean, Brennan might as well go ahead and be a part of it from down south, you know what I'm saying? 3J, what's going on with you, man? You want to say hello to them peoples?
What's up, y'all? It's the rapping minister 3J, aka 3J, Jehovah God, Jesus Christ, justice. Without the 3, we can't be free. Let's have fun. Let's get started. Let's
do it, brother. Let's do it. Listen, tonight we're talking about limits and love. You guys, when I'm not looking at you, y'all forgive me because I'm just trying to make sure I share, do my part. I always ask y'all to share. But I'm trying to
That's
do my
what
part
like
to make sure.
when I'm not looking at the screen, I'm looking at the chat and everything. I'll be interacting with the chat.
Exactly.
I texted you.
You did? Oh, I can't check my text right now. Shoot.
Okay.
Never mind.
So listen, we're talking about limits, love, sacrifice, and we want to talk about, if you saw the flyer, we're going to talk a lot about love, sacrificing, and limits to that sacrifice and limits to that love. Brothers, and I gotta remember, like, even though y'all are beside me, that I really need to stay focused here.
Right.
Y'all should just touch each other so everybody will see it real quick.
You know what I'm saying? Oh,
Greatness.
Listen, but the first question that we're going to start off with this evening is, and for all of you all who are watching too, does love require the willingness to sacrifice? Does love require the willingness to sacrifice? I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and start it off. Anybody wants to take that? And if you're commenting, you comment.
I come, since it's my first day back, you feel me? Like I'm just a little upset that y'all interrupted my UFC fight night, game to ask me, does love take sacrifice? Yes, absolutely. That's all it is. It's just boundless sacrifice. No, I'm playing. No, yeah, absolutely, it does. It takes sacrifice. One, because in love you're in service, and so sometimes that service is not just to yourself. So yeah, quick, simple,
right.
Yes.
I mean, definitely, right? Like, how can you love someone and not sacrifice something, whether that's time, money, emotion, you know what I mean, temper, like you're sacrificing something. If you truly love someone or something, period, there's always something that you're sacrificing, no matter what relationship that is, even to an object, right? Like, I love video games. You're sacrificing your time to play that video game. You're your energy goes to whatever you know what I'm saying? So you're always sacrificing. Yeah.
As the follow pastor say with that, to love is to be selfless. So even with being selfless, that's enough sacrifice right there, because you're sacrificing yourself to help somebody else, to do something for somebody, whatever the case may be. You're taking your own self, removing to help somebody else. So absolutely, sacrifice takes love.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so we all agree there, because I believe it does take sacrifice too, right? Like, I think love. I know I saw myself turn.
I don't think that was a big disagreement point. How much sacrifice might be where we get into it. You feel me?
Right.
We sacrifice the green screen.
Yeah, we definitely did. This is what happens, right, when everybody forgets their green screens, y'all. But listen, it worked out because we all don't have a green screen.
I'm mad that it's a different
That's a fact.
shade
We
of
did.
white.
Everybody sacrificed green screens.
We got white, we got cream, beige, and it's the same wall.
That's right. That's the crazy part, right? Miss Nikki says, God is love, and he sacrificed his son to redeem us out of his love for us, which is the main example. I have a question. Does love, all right, so I think we all agree, because I agree that love does require sacrifice, but the follow to that is like, so does love have limits? Is there a limit to your love?
God, like that's kind of
like there's like different type of loves, and different loves require different things. Like even
is it different types of love or different ways to express love?
No, it's different types of love.
Okay.
Even in scripture, like what is it? Oh man, come on, Lancaster Bible College. Agape love.
They ain't coming through for you right now.
I remember agape love. Eros love. That's where you get erotic. And Philos love. That's where you get Philadelphia, brotherly love, like the love you give to your brother. Okay. So even in scripture, there's three three different type of loves, and each one has its own. How I love my brother is, and how I'm going to love my wife. Right? Even Christ said, love your wife as Jesus loved the church."
Please
You
don't.
know what I mean? Different types of love and different type of relationships. So there's different boundaries with that. Even Eros love. I hope I'm getting that right. Somebody tell me if I'm getting that right in the messages, but I feel like I'm right.
I know what you're saying. I don't know if you're saying them correctly, but I know
Right.
what you're referring
I know it's like
to.
Eros,
Eros.
Yeah,
love,
I think it's
agape
Eros.
love, and Philos love.
Yeah.
Look at that degree.
So-
Look at that degree.
So you're saying that it does have limits.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
I think it's based on
I was
the.
about to say, that's a good. I was about to ask you
Boundaries.
because if we even go back to scripture talking about love, the word says in John that God is love, and from what I know from that understanding, God doesn't have any limits. Right. So that's a good question Ramon asked. Does God really have? I mean, does love really have this limits? But according to God, no.
But depending on your relationship, that
yes. So I will go with you in saying there are boundaries. I don't think it's necessarily limits. I think it's balance.
I mean, it's levels. You feel me? It's just levels.
Yeah,
it's levels to the vessels. You feel me? I think using the God example is also clear because he loves all of his children, but not all his children make it into heaven because there's certain there's levels that you I mean, and I don't want to make it like hierarchy or tierish, but there's certain rooms you get into because of how you like your relationship and your love with God, and certain rooms you can't get into, So that's it. I mean, I think there is boundaries more than limits or parameters or something like that. But there's like I feel like it's about to get spicy.
It's hard to say. I don't even know if this is a question, but it's in my mind. It's hard to say limits or boundaries because how I express and how I accept love is different from how you might or Ro might or Jew. So you might be at your max level, and I'm like, I need something. You know what I'm saying? Like I need more.
Well, so
how do you express? You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting because Helen Ellis says God doesn't put limits on his love for us. Who says I can only love you 50%? I also want to give a shout out to Brother Willie Clark who's watching. And then also Miss Nikki says that would be agape, which is unconditional. So she's talking about the agape. Go ahead. What are you about to say, Ted?
But to that 50% to you is 80% to someone. You
Well,
know
it just got dark in Tay-Ron room.
Listen, Tay, you got really. You might want to lower that.
Tay just turned out the lights.
No, you know what? It's my
God doesn't agree. God doesn't agree.
Whatever you was about to say, God said no.
God said no.
It's not it's the camera.
Okay.
So I'm gonna fix my camera.
Well, okay.
I'm gonna continue my thought and then I'm gonna log off and log back on.
Okay.
Right, cool.
So I'm saying, so like the 50% you give for somebody, that's 110%, right? If I see if love for me is giving me money and you just gave me some money, or you love the world out of me versus somebody, you know what I mean? What's the axis or the five love language? Depending on how you perceive love, 50% to somebody is 2%. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. That's why it's hard to put a limit on love. Like how do you determine what's love and what's not? You know what I mean?
So with that, just ask. You gotta come back, and we'll jump back. Yeah,
I'll be right back.
Yeah, come back.
And I mean to build on that, I think it's the different types of love that we all, have and experience. And I think we kind of laid it out before. Like I don't love Ray and 3J like I love my brother, my blood brother. And it's no less of a love. It's just a different type of love. And that's different also from the love that I have for my father or my father to uncle. It's no less of a love. There's no, I don't know I think if you truly love someone, you have to love them at 100%. It just might be a different type of love and might not look, the expressions of that love might not look the same. And so that's where we get into the and I mean and I think Tay pointing out the love language is absolutely a part of it as well, because then Then we talk about the interpretation of love, and sometimes that we put limits in our interpretation of love on what love is. And so it could be like if my love language is act of service and someone else's is words of affirmation, and they give me all the words of affirmation in the world, but they don't give me any act of service, then I put the limit on there from my personal perspective and my interpretation of their actions.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Also, what society tells us love is,
Right. Facts.
just
Love ain't buying a Birkin bag. I'm sorry.
Or some type of show that someone saw, and now all of a sudden, if I'm not getting this, then that person must not love me, or you know what I mean. So it's,
but that's a question I was going to ask her later anyway, because I wanted.
You took it from going though.
Oh, go ahead.
Go faster. Go faster.
Go ahead, minister.
Don't go faster.
But I forget. I'm still looking this way. So no, for real. Like that's a question that was in that I wanted I think we all were maybe thinking about. But like, y'all think that social media plays a role, or like
Absolutely.
TV plays a role, or like other platforms influence how we view love and what our capacity is for love? I mean, you got stuff like Loving Hip Hop. You got these reality shows. You got social media, right? Like which like has these like ways that we're supposed to love. Like does that influence us? Are we paying attention to all of that?
Absolutely influences.
Fam, it's a whole section of people that are that believe like if you're not flying people out or buying them Birkins, then you don't love them. And
he took it right out.
even
that's
when we
corny to
talking
me.
when we were talking about dating and chivalry, well, that's a tradition. Where did that tradition come? You know what I'm saying? Like, where did that come from?
Yo, but no. Speaking of which,
I keep
so
looking.
I was just
I was
doing the same. I was thinking of this earlier. So I saw right because Offset. So right, like he bought Cardi B the push gift. They call it a push gift, right? So now, right. So once you have had the baby, he gave her a gift to show her his appreciation for her carrying the baby for the 9 months. So now, right, like there's a whole push gift thing. So like now, right, like there's all these things about. So like, well, it already has, right? Because what I saw it was on this talk show, and then they were like, so are you going to give a push gift to your woman? Like it's this thing now. Like so now it's like this pressure to like I'm like so now does that?
Yeah, it's no pressure.
Well, yeah, but like now does that? Right, does that now equate to like a way to, right? Because the problem is that now if people don't follow those examples, all of a sudden you got these people getting mad, like, oh, you didn't give me a push gift. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's my push? Now they're expecting it, and we're setting on. So and Miss and Monica and Miss Nikki and all you females who are on, I love to know too. Like, does that set an example of love for you, right? Like, does that create a standard of which you now hold men to? Is this image of love that Offset has created? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's one of those. We have to stop basing relationships on these celebrities. Because most of people that think now when it comes to relationships, how the celebrities do, oh, if you ain't doing it like this, then you really don't care for me. Like Brennen said, who was the one that said, Sweetie? I think it was Sweetie that said it. If you don't buy me a Birkin bag and you really don't care for me like that. Like they're setting that standard up thinking that, no, this is how you're supposed to be loved. Getting money spent on you is how you're supposed to be loved. And it's like, no, it's way more than that. However, that standard is still being set now that, oh, you men out here, yeah, you really love your woman, you gotta go out here and spend X amount of money to prove that you love your woman now. So it's dumb, but that standard is being set.
Yeah.
Why? Don't know.
Let me edit that point just a second, 3J. I think not even because and not to say that it was wrong. I just think you got to broaden that thing out a little bit. I think we like right now we're basing love and relationship off other people, and they don't got nothing to do with other people. It's the people that are in relationship that really need to, define what that love and relationship is, and whether that be friendship, like a serious relationship, situationship, whatever it is. Those two people need to work that out, not necessarily society or us or even outside influences. Because at the end of the day, that's like it's between y'all two. It ain't a relationship between you and the world. It's between you and this other person.
It's interesting because Jawan said, and I love it because I actually thought the same thing. Jawan was like, "Isn't the baby the push gift?" Like,
nah, don't do that. Don't do that.
got
Y'all
life.
about to get us canceled for real.
True. Yep.
look, what's up, Miss Kim? If y'all are just joining us, just so you guys can catch up, we're talking about love, limits, love, and sacrifice. We've been talking about, is there a limit to your love? Does love require sacrifice? And we're now on this part about social media and platforms like that influencing our love. And we were just talking about the fact that Offset bought Cardi B a push gift, and we were saying is that now set this new standard of love that men now have to follow, or right, the women don't think that they love them anymore. So that's where we are. But Pastor Tay, I think you about to say something.
Yeah, but even talking about that, well, I was about to jump, but I'm gonna jump. I don't care.
Yeah, jump, reach.
So what's the difference? Do y'all think it is a difference between how men love and women love? When we're talking about the whole social media experience and how that can sometimes dictate how we treat.
Okay, I see
Right?
where you're going. I see where you're going.
So if I have a friend and I say I love this friend, but you don't want to take it to a level or vice versa, and it kind of jumps on when we were talking about dating. What is dating versus relationship?
Right.
You can have love for somebody and not want to take it to a relationship.
Absolutely.
So what's the limit in that?
I think it goes back into what Brennan said. It goes on the two, and it goes back into the conversation we had last week: communication and understanding. When the two have the understanding and the communication of, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is what they decide to do, and lay their foundation, then that's where it goes. But if it's in no agreement, then it's kind of up.
But do you think that men or women love harder than each other? Like, who did you say a woman loves harder than a man?
I'm honestly
or a man
for
loves
me,
harder?
I'm going to say no to that. I'm just going to say
I was
that.
about to lead the conversation. He was about to
Listen.
hey, that exit button was right there. I was
trying
about
to make the conversation go. I'm just
It's
doing.
going to be a live because going to say, no, women love harder than men, and men love harder. No, and the reason for that is because from my belief and my understanding, God gave every last one of us the same amount of love to love each other the same exact way to get off the same love. So it goes kind of to that person and what the love they're giving off and how much they're giving off. But I seriously think that both men and female are equal when it comes to love and giving the same love.
I think.
And let me just give a shout out to Adrian who joined us, Elder Mike, who's our fam. He's always on with us. What's up, Elder Mike?
What's up, bro?
I can't wait to see some of your answers to this. And Sima, who is somebody's aunt.
What up, Auntie?
There you go. All right.
Oh.
So yes.
No,
ahead,
man.
Brandon,
I don't think it's a like on a grade of who loves more or anything like that. I just think, again, it's just different ways of expressing it. I think society has made us look at those different ways of expressing love in different ways and put more value on it from a society standpoint. But I think in acts of love, there is no real hierarchy. I mean, if we break it down to even sex, like the way we express love in sex from a male to female is different. No one has more value, but like it's a different way of expression, you know.
You was about to get ready to jump. You was about to jump into next month too quick. I was getting ready to stop you. I was like, no, Brittany, don't go too deep in that yet. Like, no.
Hey, bro, you know, hey, I had to get out of there real quick. You know?
Hey, look, I'm like, no, don't deep, no. What you got, Pastor? What we got?
So listen, all right, I hear you guys. All right, so I hear you. Like, men and women, I don't, right? And I would not dare say that one or the other love harder than the other, because then they just get a lot of hate mail, and I don't need that. Kim does say we as women express ourselves differently too. Adrian said, I think it's an individual love thing. No people love the same. We all have a capability to love, but what determines how much or how less is on an individual basis.
Absolutely.
Now, I will say
Big
this.
facts.
Yeah, I would say this to expand what we're talking about. I say that I think a lot of times, unfortunately, we base our love on improper love. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
because so let me
That's
let me.
Oh, did you mean? Are you saying we display love improperly? Is what you mean by that?
Well, yes, I think that we improperly.
Yo, you're so with this. I gotta stop turning my
Yeah.
way.
Right,
I think we
KJ, you gotta look at the camera.
yeah, look at the look at the guy. I think we improperly share our love because we were improperly taught. So, like, I think a lot of times we didn't receive enough love from our family, right? Our family, the display of abuse in our households, or the lack of emotion in our households, right? Or I even, to be honest with you, I know people who talk about this, this sort of like, I was about to turn. A lot of people talk about this sort of like, this goal by Hollywood to demasculate us. But to be honest with you, I think we have done a bad thing in society by over masculating or teaching the wrong aspect of masculation. You know what I'm saying? I think so many of us have learned the wrong way, and so I think a lot of us we display love the wrong way because
Like
we've been
what?
taught the wrong way. So, for example, right? You know that when people grow up, like people who abuse have usually been abused, right? Like so they're abused because they have been abused. Some people don't know how to communicate because they've never seen good communication in practice. You know what I'm saying? Like what somebody make a
You see Kim's comment?
Why am I not on
Shout
this
out to
episode?
Kim. She said, "Why am I not on this episode? I can't type fast enough."
Hey, this point, did I just not say something to you
Right
earlier
now, she would have
about?
did a Kimism. Right
See?
now.
yeah.
Right.
They
Like,
fit like a glove.
that was confirmation for you right there when I talked to you earlier.
Walter,
That was confirmation.
Dr. Walter said, love is a negotiated contract between two people. The conditions are contingent upon the conditions or levels of the relationship. Yeah, I think people just haven't been taught or haven't been right. They haven't seen it practiced, and that's why you get a lot of people who love the wrong way. So I don't know that there's a difference in men and women loving more or less, but I do think that the conditions of how we love are too often based upon the conditions of which we've been loved. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Facts.
I'm with that.
Yeah, and I think that that's true because I just
Hey,
see how.
I ain't got nothing. No, I ain't got nothing. Go ahead.
Brendan was talking.
No, no. I mean, I think that that's true. I think the conditions do matter in a lot of ways. Because I mean, we can take it from the standpoint of, the male providing for his family. Like if there is a section of people in the world, both men and women, who like it's like, well, if my mate doesn't make a certain price, like if they don't make a certain amount a year, if they don't bring in a certain amount of salary per year, I would never date them. Or I might, I might have a situationship, but it'll never get serious because they're not on my level. And so it's like in that aspect, I think that there is elements of that. But for me, I think love in its purest form, those things don't matter as much. They do matter because you build a life from that, and building a life with someone, you do want to build life. You want to build your life with someone that is, I mean, not even necessarily on the same level, but just going towards the same mission. And you both develop a collective mission together and moving forward. But there's we got the people that it's like, if Shorty credit score ain't such and such, I can't date him. If he not driving this, I can't date him. All of that stuff, and to me, it's nonsense. Because like you could literally find love anywhere, and who's to say, like the shorty who got the 600 credit score, or homie that's in the Ford Taurus, the 98 Ford Taurus. Nah, we ain't gonna go back that far.
Oh,
We'll give him an '05 Ford Taurus. We'll give him an '05 Ford Taurus. Like if homie in the '05 Ford Taurus, he might.
This one I'm laughing.
I had an 06, I had an 07, and I had an 08.
I thought about it. Right when he said Ford Taurus, I thought immediately at you, yeah, just laughed.
Listen, man, that's the
I've been
throwback, man. Everybody in the hood had one.
I had a Cavalier, and I'm still driving an 01
Chevy
Cavalier.
riding high.
Kim says our imprinting comes from the environment we were raised in. It takes a lot to break any dysfunction embedded in us.
Yeah.
And Malika
Miss
says,
Kim should have
so
been off for that comment alone. That's
yeah.
real. That's real.
So,
And I mean,
so
I think from a standpoint, I also think from a standpoint like in relationship and in relationship with someone else, especially if it's a serious relationship, like what you realize, I mean, what you can realize in some points is that some of the tension that comes in the relationship isn't necessarily something that you've done to each other. It's just that you both have learned to love in a very specific way and haven't learned to love each other yet. And so it's like from that standpoint, it's like we're not necessarily doing anything that's wrong or hurting each other, but we're not loving each other in a way that we both can accept and interpret and internalize and like and then begin to regurgitate that love or show that love back. Like if we don't feel it, it's hard to always go out and show that love. And so it's like sometimes you realize that in a relationship, and it may be something that like your partner just they expose something in you that you didn't even know was there. Like they might show you a deep dark secret about you or some mislearned behaviors that you didn't even know were there, but now you're in this situation and you're like, yo, who is this? And now you got to realize it's me and I got to fix that.
Yeah, but
since he killed that, can we go to the next question?
Yeah, I was going to say, okay.
And kind of in the same vein of what you're saying, like even when we're talking about love, even when you're talking about like new relationships, even harping back to what we were saying, it takes a while for someone to actually know the real you. So sometimes people can fall in love with your your representative and not who you truly are. You know what I mean? So even when you're talking about the materialistic stuff, and shout out to Nikki, I see your comment. You see like you said, the credit score or the nice car, but she has a lot going for herself. You fall in love with the possibility, but the reality is she bought all that stuff because she's a shallow person, or he has like some kind of issue with that materialistic stuff. Insecurities, and the materialistic stuff is just covering up that insecurity, but you didn't see it because you fell in love with the persona and not who the person was. You know what I mean? So is that really love?
So
or is that envy?
So Jesus,
or lust.
we talk.
Uh-oh. Pastor Ray went bye-bye. So Jesus, blackout.
Can't see you. Well, we can see you.
Okay, all right.
See, look, Jesus just went to black.
Jesus been blackout. It was over.
Right.
So I got a black screen, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask the question and I'm gonna come back on because for me I can't see anything. But I want to know. So Jesus sort of demonstrates this example, right, of what love should be, right? He I mean, those of us who are Christian would say that Jesus subscribed to love by the sacrifice. I mean, we talk all the time about he had the ultimate sacrifice, and that was the best display of love. When he comes down and he defies the rules, he heals on the Sabbath, and he talks to women because men were not supposed to talk to women at that time, and he does all these things. Do y'all agree that Jesus sets the example of what we are supposed to model?
Absolutely. Absolutely, especially.
I think, how do we not? The love that he showed towards people he didn't even know, is just an example of how to show love and be love in the world. I mean, even even to the point where the woman that they were about to stone, like, she in a whole relationship, and he, like, she might have been dead wrong, but he still showed love, showed a level of love to her that was different. And I think that in the end, that's when for me, that's when I realized that I really, really, really loved my wife. Was when it was like, all right, I'm starting to see like a different This ain't B. You know, this ain't me. This ain't me showing this love. This is different because this isn't how I would do it. This isn't how I was taught to do it. This is what I have learned through, you know, hard trials, tribulations, arguments, and a whole lot of love. But no, I mean, I think that's when you see that it's something different, and then your partner can also recognize it the same. Like they recognize the difference in the growth in the way you love and the way you show love.
Yeah. But there's a vulnerability, right? When in love, like you have to make it so vulnerable to really,
absolutely,
to really receive love, but also to show love. I think that kind of sets, when you talk about limits, that kind of sets the limit. How vulnerable are you willing to be with whoever you're showing love to? That's not just a relationship between, you know, two people, a romantic relationship. That's with any relationship. Like how vulnerable can you be? That kind of is what sets the limit of or boundary of where that love can go.
And so you say what you talking about vulnerability. With Jesus, I think the most favorite way that he expressed love was when he washed his disciples' feet. And I took that to a whole nother level. Like I said, at first some people would think like, well, man, washing another man's feet, massaging, like, no, men are not supposed to do that. However, when I understood that type of love, I was like, oh, there's really no problem in that, because he's really showing no matter what, it doesn't matter, I'm there for y'all. You have a hard day, relax yourself. I got you, don't worry about that. And it's showing I'm a servant just like you. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to serve you just like you're here to serve everybody else, and also here to serve me as well. And that's what love does. Love, as excuse me, as Pastor Moan said, love is service. So with that, when you understand Jesus and the service that he did, I truly believe you'll understand the love that he actually had for his disciples as well as for the world. Because that service is sacrificing himself. Which one of y'all can do that?
But you know what's interesting what you're saying is that I want to go back and sort of tie that to part of our conversation in this, is that too goes to that place of like what we teach is masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, I think that we have, unfortunately, we have made a mockery out of what real masculinity is, right? Because like, I think about the fact that if you go to certain parts of Africa, you know, many people don't know this, but African men actually walk around holding hands in public. Like that's just how they show their affection. If you go to Europe, let's go to the other part of the world, right? You know, if you go over there, they greet each other with a kiss, right? You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, ain't there a country where they greet each other with kisses?
Yeah. So I think, right? Like,
don't greet me with no kisses, bro. I'm gonna just let y'all know now. I ain't from over there. I'm from Rochester, New York. We don't greet each other with kisses.
So I think I think that listen, I have so many jokes. Okay, anyway, let me stay focused.
I knew it was gonna stump you.
I think we have to be mindful of the cultural context of love, right? Is what I guess I'm saying. We talked about this last week, even when we talked about like dating, but I think love requires us to be able to look outside of ourselves, outside of our own societies, outside of our norms, and really wrestle with. If we're going to use Jesus as the example, we have to really look at that thing and go, wow, what was Jesus willing to do that even I am not willing to do? And am I willing to practice and step up to the model that he laid? Because there's a lot there I don't think we've come close to. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
I mean, to take that example and to go back to Jesus, like, you know, I mean, he provided all the examples, and it was different types of relationships. His relationship with, you know, his mother when she told him to, you know, turn the water into wine. Like he at first like, nah, that ain't what I'm here for. Right? Yeah, right. I don't want to do that. Like that ain't my role. I'm not here to get the party lit. But you know. Listen, I'm also showing a level of love and submitting to the authority over me, and that is one thing we have to like, especially men, like our wives or husbands, because I want to be clear about that, like our wives or husbands, like your partner has authority in your relationship, no matter what your gender. Like is they because it's a partnership. It's not a monarchy or a dictatorship. It is a partnership, and in that, even if you are, say it's a 51-49, or even if it's a 60-40, like for me as a leader in a relationship, like your mind still has to be on and considering that other half. So it's like I can't make a decision solely off how it'll make me feel or how I'll feel. I always have to have that other person in mind, or that connection in mind, and how it will affect that connection.
Right.
Definitely.
It's so crazy. You said, Miss Nikki said Jesus displayed a level of love that none of us in this country are even willing to.
Woo.
But that's what submission is.
That was so.
But
right.
even
she's right.
like think of other emotions, how it ties in, like forgiveness, right? Like Jesus showed his love through forgiveness.
Yep.
Like I would not be breaking bread with Judas. I know you about to sniff me out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Fam, we're gonna shoot this fade first. We shooting this fade outside before, and you might not come in to break bread because I still might be mad after we shoot this fade. Like you about to kill me, bro.
Well, so let's move on. You kind of helped with the transition. Now, I do want to say this before we move on. I had a thought about, in some countries, women are treated as less than, period. And so what happens is you're born and you have to obey your father. You get older, you obey your husband, and then you get older and you obey your child, your son, right? Like there's some countries where women never see, and I think Jesus displays this because in his time, that really was almost how they lived too, right? So to Brennan's point, for him to submit to his mother that way was not necessarily, right? We got to make sure that point is really made sure it's loud. That was not the thing to do. He didn't have to submit to her because culturally, she wouldn't have been seen as somebody he had to necessarily submit to. But out of his reverence and his love for his mother, he still did what his mother asked him to do.
All women in general, the woman who had the disease of blood, she could have been killed for touching a man.
Right. Right.
The woman at the well.
Yeah.
He's when he's supposed to talk to her.
I mean, we can go back to his birth, like the fact that the promise and the angels came to Mary and Elizabeth and spoke to them and told them about what was going on, and Elizabeth's husband didn't know exactly what was going on and came home and questioned, and it got like he couldn't talk for a while until it happened. So it's like I think that was in a way God breaking down that whole narrative of women are less than. No, I'm gonna send the savior of the world. And it's going to be women that bring it here. It ain't even just one woman. It's going to be women that bring it here.
Let me ask you a question. I know this ain't on the list, but how do we express love in anger? Like, how do we give love?
Oh, Lord. That's a whole episode, bro.
That's the episode.
Well, what's your limit? You said limits.
I'm gonna try.
Listen, Ms. Nikki said that's
I'm gonna go first. I can go first. The easiest expression of love and anger sometimes is me leaving the situation because I'm angry, and whatever I'm gonna say or do won't come out with the love that I have for that person. And so, like, showing that restraint sometimes is an expression of anger still, but it is an expression of anger and love. Like, I love you, so I can't continue this right now. Because if I do, I'm gonna say something that I really don't mean, or I'm gonna do something that I don't mean, and I'm gonna have to come back and apologize. Like that ain't it. And I don't have to do that because I want.
It says not to send an anger.
Well, quick to listen, slow to speak.
Right, and so I'm gonna go with Brennan on this, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what he said. I'll be leaving because number one, the word tells us that there is power in the tongue that gives life and death. So with that, I have to really, really watch what I'm gonna say out of my mouth becoming angry. And if I know that I'm not about to say something nice or positive, I need to go ahead and walk away for a quick minute. There's nowhere in any statute or any law saying that I cannot walk away, calm myself down, and come back to come talk to you. That's love. That's how I would display it as love. Like, let me get a breather real quick before something happened that we don't want to happen. get a breather, separate for a minute, then come back collectively, calm, and be patient, develop everything that we lost in that anger, regain it, and come back and try to fix the problem.
It's real quick. Miss Helen Ellis said, "I love you, but I have something to say, and you will get over it." And let me tell you something. And I'm gonna say this because I know Miss Helen. And I'm gonna say this. And respectfully, she is absolutely right. Now I'm gonna tell you, everybody doesn't always like it, and even I don't always like it because Miss Helen will tell you how she feel, even when she's not supposed to tell you how she feel. But when you love someone, you get to know that's how they are, and that is exactly how she is.
And sometimes that doesn't work. Yeah, like I understand because I'm the same way.
It don't.
Work on
It don't
work on it.
because I'm the type of person. If I'm there and you say something I don't like, then it's lit. That's why I gotta leave. That's why I gotta leave, and that's something for real that like my wife and I we had to work on because she she had a slick tongue sometimes, and listen, I'm from New York, and we don't play that. No. I'm saying I'm not. No. I'm not going down that road. We good right now.
Right.
Look. We're not doing that. No. But it's really like both of us. We both had to notice like there are triggers in it that will trip you up and cause you to not show the love that you really have for the person. And I think that in a sense is when we falter sometimes in showing love and being love is when and like honestly, if we're real, a lot of times that anger comes from like being in a place or being in a vulnerable place and something not feeling right. Like it could be like a move that someone makes or an action or a word that someone says that don't sit right with you in the place that they are. It could be a criticism and because they are in a vulnerable place in your emotions, your heart, your mind and everything, it just don't feel right, so you get angry, and that's the first emotion because you want to defend yourself because you feel vulnerable and you feel like that vulnerability is being attacked. And so it's like sometimes you have to step back to take a second. Hey, that wasn't the intention. I understand why it feels like that. Why does it feel like? Why did I take it that way? Why did anger come up rather than something else? And like taking that time back is that's what I use it for, is to examine. All right, be you angry? What got you angry? Why are you angry? Is this worth staying angry? Can you get over it to have a conversation right now, or do you need a little bit of time?
Kim, there's a whole conversation that I love it.
Kim trying to call in.
Listen,
Kim done wrote a book. Kim wrote a book in the comment section, low key.
Okay, Kim said, "Ladies, we may accept an apology, but the deed is in the vault." Am I right? Manika says, "We just don't forget. We just don't forget because we need to be mindful of what took place." Miss Nikki said, "Lord, that's where we bringing stuff back up in arguments. We really got to learn how to stop doing that."
Yeah.
And Kim said,
No, see, but that's where Kim. I mean, Miss Kim. Vote. We got to get rid of them votes. I'm tired of dealing with votes. I don't want no votes of the bad stuff I did.
Remembering what I did 5 years ago.
Jawan,
I don't even remember I did that.
Right.
Jawan says, "Hey, listen, Jawan, I need you to reach out to me because, bro, I think we would love to have you on in August to have one of the conversations we're having. So, Jawan, hit me up, brother." Jawan said, "Love is also recognizing when somebody needs that space." And that's big. That's big because I'm gonna tell you,
Lord.
You know what I'm saying? Like
sometimes you got to tell her, no, I'm leaving because you ain't the right, or your partner.
Yeah.
I'm leaving because you ain't in the right space, and that's gonna take me somewhere real bad.
But aren't there moments where like there have been times when I know I've needed space, but I know she needed to say it right now, so I just dealt with it. You know, there are times where space isn't needed. Like sometimes you just gotta be uncomfortable and bear with it. Like every argument isn't bad, right? If it's constructive, it's okay, right? Like I couldn't imagine every time I'm upset to take a walk, right? Like sometimes you have to address it head on.
Mm-hmm. And I think and my fault. I might have suggested walking away as the first resort, but it's really a last resort. Like it's really, I might have misrepresented it in that way, but it's really a last resort. And I mean,
Random.
yeah.
Let me,
I mean,
Random. Shout out
it's
for
really a
Brennen.
case of like, if we can't continue to have this conversation in a healthy way, then I gotta go. If we can't have the conversation in a healthy manner, and sometimes being healthy is being quiet and listening to every bad thing your partner has to say about you at that moment. So absolutely, there are some times when Miss Helen's statement is right. Like, listen, I got something to say and you gonna hear it, and I'm gonna sit right here and I'm gonna listen to it and I'm gonna accept it. Well, I might not accept it. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna take it in, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it later.
Okay, so
You
you
put that
just-
one in the bowl.
You just actually answered my question, Brian. Do you think that? Do you suggest when walking away or when you have a problem, you get angry, that you should be announcing it first before you walk away from that problem? Like if there's an argument or something going on, should you go, hey, let's breathe real quick. We're gonna step outside, then we can come back to this, or do you just get up and do it?
You have to communicate, period. You can't just get up and go. You got to communicate.
I just wanted you to make that clear for the people, that's all.
I wanted to give a shout out to both Betty Matthews and Jordan Lindsay, who are both watching this. What's up, you guys? Glad you came in. Make sure you like it. Make sure you comment if you're
Share.
in. And make sure you share it. Listen, I want to keep us moving. So, talking about this whole Jesus love. So, some people say that Jesus, in all of his loving, was too soft. So, I want to know if y'all would argue that Jesus was too soft, or that
I can't say the word I want to say. I'm watching my tongue.
like
the answer is no for me though. Do I think Jesus is too soft? No. I want to say something else, but no. I'm just leaving it.
Jesus had some hard moments. Like,
Jesus was hard. Period.
Like,
Jesus was in the streets. What you mean?
Like flipped over tables.
My man was a
He
G
got smart with his
team.
disciples. He was like, "Yo, how much longer I gotta be with y'all? Y'all don't get this yet? Where y'all think?" Jesus was hard.
Jesus was a hard body. To think that man was so
Jesus
good.
prayed in the garden until he started crying and crying tears of blood. Like, fam, he was going through some stuff, and his homies went to sleep. The homies went to sleep while he over here praying his heart out. And like, hey fam, if we praying
listen,
and y'all go to sleep on me, we fighting. I'm letting y'all know that right now. I ain't Jesus. I'm trying to be like him.
I love what Jawan. Now Jawan puts this. Jawan, I love that. He says, because he was God in human flesh, would you also argue God is too soft with us?
No. I still don't think God is soft.
I need God to be a little bit softer.
I would say yes.
This is why we need that. This is why we need that.
No, God is soft on us, and I'm glad He is. That's grace. Like God gives us grace. We don't deserve what we've been given.
Facts.
So yeah, He is soft on us.
Mercy,
but then,
mercy, forgiveness, all that stuff.
So let's go back to answer: is God soft with us? No, this man ain't soft, because before Jesus got here, your man was murking off everybody that didn't listen to what he said. Yo, if I told you to do this and you did, I'm taking you out. Let's go for prime example, the famous story of Sodom and Gomorrah. What was Lot's wife name? What's the chick name?
Lot's wife. Lot's wife.
Whatever. Lot's wife, right?
Yeah, the salt pillar.
God, right. The
salt lady.
The salt lady. You turn around. You're going to die and turn into a pillar of salt. There's no shade in that. There's no game in that. You did it. That's exactly what happened.
But
so
God gave us an out. God told us what to do. And it was our fault that we disobeyed.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. God ain't soft, because He told us exactly what it was.
Well, but Jawan's question is. So I think his question, the way I'm looking at it is, but is God soft through Jesus?
No.
What are you talking?
No, Jesus.
That's
it.
what I'm talking about.
I need him to be more soft. I need him to be more soft. I don't need him to be harder. It's already hard. I need a little bit more help. I need a few more moments of forgiveness and expressions of grace and mercy. No, he ain't too hard. Jawan, you
Listen.
can't come on here talking about that.
Listen, I need all of y'all who are watching. Melissa G. Rogers, I notice you're watching. What's up to you? I want to say this. I know the ladies are having a great conversation as well. I love it that you guys keep the comments rolling. We're going to have one of these conversations where we get, first of all, Kim to come on and talk about her 5 steps to love, because she keeps mentioning it. So I know that she wants to do it with Kim. We're going to do it. And maybe we need to just have. We're gonna have it. Y'all are giving this idea.
We have a lady edition of
another lady edition. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. And because we can have like a couple, like I think now we have a bigger limit of who we can have. We're gonna mix this thing up very soon. So y'all get ready.
And
all of that.
Next season.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Question: do you all believe that sacrificial love can become abusive?
I think all of
Yes.
us sacrifice. So in that vein, yes.
I'm in agreement.
I think we can, and I think that this is sometimes a lot of issues, and it was definitely one of mine. Is we can sacrifice ourselves too much in search of a love that isn't there. Because I think, love in its truest form, it takes a partnership. Like we can, even God's love towards us, like He loves us, is agape love, everlasting, is all around. But we don't love Him the same, therefore we don't reap the same benefits. And I think it's in the same way. Like if we, show love to someone else and we show sacrifice and things like that, it can absolutely be abusive to ourselves because we're expending energy, emotions, vulnerabilities, and not even to say it's not being reciprocated, but it's not being valued in a way or cherished in a way that it should. And that can be abusive. It can be an emotionally abusive. And I think that and I think from that standpoint, we'll stay there because it absolutely can be physical in other ways like that. But from an emotional standpoint, we can be abusive to ourselves in sacrificial love.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think when we're talking about love, like yes, we can give our love to other people. We also have to realize that there's a self-love we have to deal with, right? So like, if I give so much to myself that I don't, God tells us to give from our overflow, but I give all from my cup. What do I have, right? You have to have that self-love. And I guess that's when that boundary comes in, right? Of knowing the love for myself to say, this is unhealthy. This isn't right. This isn't how it should be for myself. Like you can love a person, and the best thing you can do is stay away from that person or that entity or thing or whatever. Like that's a real thing, and that comes from self-love and self-evaluating yourself and say, is this healthy for me to be in? Whatever that situation may be, right? That could be friends, that could be an unhealthy friendship, that could be an unhealthy relationship, even with family, right? It can be unhealthy. And abuse isn't just physical. Like you can have a friend who just takes and takes and takes and isn't giving anything to you, right? That's an abusive relationship, whether you see it or not, right? So all those things add up to saying, yes, you have to love one another, but you have to love yourself too. And when you love yourself, you can see rather what's healthy and what's not healthy and make that decision when it comes to love.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. So much in the comments that I don't even know where to start, but I'll just highlight maybe.
Comments is going crazy right now.
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time keeping up.
I love it.
I got my laptop today, so I can't really look at it and engage.
Can sacrificial love become abusive? Yes, Miss Nikki, sacrificial love can be taken advantage of or abused. Monica, yes, when you give so much of yourself that you don't recognize who you are. Kim, yes, if you're with an abusive personality.
Come on, Miss Kim. Yeah, we gotta come back.
Listen.
Come on, we gotta come back. Get ready. I should get off my link right now.
Listen, I'm gonna keep going because there's so much. We're almost out of time here. So I'm gonna end on this question here. And listen, you guys get ready. I know you all were probably expecting the sex and scripture conversation tonight, but we decided that we could break that down into a whole series. And so August, y'all get ready because we're going in And trust me, we're going to have guests on that can talk about this. Y'all are going to love the guests. I think it's going to get deep. We are ready for this whole sex sacrifice conversation. So y'all get ready for August. In our closing,
Wait, did you just say sex sacrifice conversation?
No, sex in scripture.
But I did say sex sacrifice. We are not talking sex sacrifice, guys. It's not August.
We're not sacrificing sex out here, bro. We not.
I'm ready for that convo.
No, we not though. Come on, Pat.
No. As a happily married man, I'm not sacrificing sex. I have taken many L's in arguments in the vein of not sacrificing sex for that night.
And that's love.
That's love. Oh man. Listen.
Love ain't that kind.
Love ain't that kind. That ain't love. Love ain't patient. You've abandoned me, love. Don't live here anymore. Listen, as we close, guys, I wanted to ask this question. Then, from all of the stuff we talked about with love, and I think there's so much that we could talk about, so much more that we could talk about with this conversation. But I guess as we leave, the last note I'd like for us to live is, how can you teach people of faith and who are not of faith to love and to sacrifice and to have limits all at the same time? How do we do our best way to teach them that you can love and sacrifice and that should have limits on it?
By example. I mean, if you're a Christian and you choose to live your life a Christ-filled life, right? Like, I shouldn't have to explain to anybody my faith. The way I live my life should show you my faith. It's the same, yeah, right. And it's the same thing with love. The way I love my neighbor, the way I love my friend, the way I love my family. That is the ultimate example of what, in my eyes, of what love is. And hopefully, if you're in my circle or if you come in contact with me, you should see that through me. I shouldn't really have to say too much.
And I'm going to say,
that's a fact. Jesus didn't. I mean, I think if we continue to look at Jesus as the example, like, there weren't many situations where Jesus brought up his religion or the scripture. He more just did, and we learned from that what the scripture was saying. You know what I'm saying? We seen the example, and then it was like, oh, that's what that type of love is. Oh, that's what you mean when you say, oh, that's how it looks. And so, like, I think in the same way, we're supposed to do the same thing. It's like when people come in contact with us, like Pastor Tay said, like, when people come in contact with us, when they have a conversation, when they see us online having a conversation, when they see us in comments or somewhere, even in the DMs, like, it should be a different type of experience for somebody else because we have a different type of love. We show a different type of love, respect, authenticity, value, and even the connection with the person than somebody else that doesn't share that love,
Yeah.
And to follow up what Pastor Tay said, being the example, literally yourself being that example. We go with scripture, and I said this the last time when we were, I forgot what episode we was on, but the word tells us to love God with all our heart, and then it also tells us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. So when you think about that, the display of love is what Pastor Tay was saying. That love that you're supposed to be expressing is the love that you have for yourself first. Before you can show anybody else love, you have to display the love that you have for yourself, as well as also in the scripture where it says, do unto others as you want done to self. So we should know right then and there, the work of love is in self first before we can display it off to anybody else. So with that example, as Pastor Tay said, in 100,000% agreement, it has to be us for ourselves to show that example first before we can really display off of what love really is.
Yeah. Listen, guys. I would answer, but I know we're in a place.
No,
of time.
Pastor, you end it off. You're supposed to get the benediction.
I will. Let me say this: there are so many different ways that you guys can help. We're going to have 2 weeks where we're not going to be here because we only meet three of the Thursdays out of the month. But what you guys can do for us in the meantime is this: you guys can share us and share our platform with your friends, with your family, with your communities. We would love it if you. And listen, we do need the money, but we definitely also need your voice So if you could just take a moment and like over the next couple of weeks, like share some of the past encounters with your friends, your family. Like send the link to a couple of
Yo,
like.
you know what we should do?
What
Yes.
should we
Listen,
do?
everybody, go under your favorite episode of The Well. Find your favorite episode of The Well on the Amplify Network and put, like, type in, this is my favorite. Or share it and say, this is my favorite.
So
Yes.
I'm
That'll
gonna
be
be,
dope. Because then we can just
So-
go
that'll
ahead
be
and
dope.
share some, you know, some favorite moments from our favorite episodes and stuff like that while people gone, man. While people gone, while we're, you know, away living lives and stuff like that and trying to show love.
So I'm gonna be funny. Everybody don't all post up the hip hop piece. Like we know that was a big one. Everybody don't post that one. You know, post up different ones.
That was my favorite one. That was my favorite.
Listen,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
can't post up the hip hop joint. And everybody just don't post that one. But
Yeah.
post
Another
episodes.
good idea is just tune in to me on Sundays
Oh,
on
my
Church
God.
Matter from 2 to 4. I
So
believe.
I'm gonna say it.
Be the
now.
plug. Be the plug, bro. Be the plug, bro.
I'm gonna say it now because you did it earlier. That was so dark-skinned. Go ahead.
Hey, and listen, those of you all who are in the DMV area, I'd love to set up something. Let's do like a lunch or something, or let's do like
Meet and
let's do
greet.
some sort of meet and greet and like have a good time. We could definitely hang out, and
Let's go
even
live tape.
and those who are
The
down.
comment section said we need merch.
I saw that. I saw that. We'll get it. That done deal. We're definitely gonna do it. Like done deal. I see. You know that. Let's make ourselves a family.
The logo.
Yeah, no, I'm
Sure.
with it. Also, you know, I would love to get yes, that's
That's
how you can find us.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Amplify Network, and just scroll down and you'll see all of the well episodes. Matter of fact, Jackie, I don't know if that's what you've done, but I think they might have even put it under the well subsection. I don't know if they did that, but you can definitely look.
I think it's listed as a playlist
Word?
or
Sweet.
like a with all the episodes in it, so you can just scroll through. I mean, watch them all while you're there. Why do you know?
Yeah.
Watch them all while you're doing your work throughout the day.
And if you go far enough,
It's
you'll
only-
see some of the first episodes of Church Mind and Matter.
I mean,
That's true.
it's like 7 months to a year worth. I think y'all be alright finding something.
Yeah, so there you go. So go to playlist under Amplify Network and then search the well. And it'll come up. I see it. Thank you, super producer Jackie. Listen, she is on it. I need to give a shout out to Jackie.
She on that. She on that. She trying to get that traffic. Let's go. Let's get that traffic.
That's it. And listen, also DM us and let us know what you want to talk about. We want to have conversations that you can't always. There's some that you do have in church, but some that you don't always have in traditional church. Let's have the conversation. So DM us and let us know what you want us to talk about. All right. So you got a couple different things. One, Brennan said, go make sure you like the post that we put up from before and share on your social media what your favorite well was. Number two, make sure that you share the well on your social media, period. And number three, DM us and let us know what conversations and what topics you would like for us to cover. And you can follow us at our social media. Jackie, be on it, at Encounter the Well, Facebook, and Encounter the Well on Instagram as well. You can also go to our website and just check us out at www.encounterthewell.org. And like I said, we can definitely use the financial help to make sure that we strengthen. So if you want to give, you can text to give just like the picture. Any dollar amount to the number 84321. And you can also go to the website, and the last tab is give. We love y'all, man. We do love you guys, and we're looking at expanding. We're gonna take the next 2 weeks, and we're gonna really talk about ways that we can like make sure that we're really building our family. I love that you all are here all the time. Brennan's mom is in the chat again.
What's up, Mom?
Dr. Lundy is in the chat. Miss Nikki and Monica and my mom's in the chat, and Uncle Willie and Aunt Simba, and
We had a gang.
listen, we got the whole gang. So
Gang.
y'all help us out and promote. You all are the well. And remember our hashtag.
First of all, why my mom asked for the hold on, time out. Why my mom asked us to talk about the do's and don'ts of Christian dating? First, you're not gonna be on that episode, man. We're not doing this. We're not playing games. We're not doing this. I'm blocking you from that episode. I will find a way to block you to make sure you can't comment in that episode.
Oh
make sure that you guys.
Why not?
She said, "Why not, B? Why not?" Listen,
We're
when we
not
get
we're
off
not
this-
having that conversation online.
No.
Listen, I was gonna say when you get off, y'all gonna have a major conversation.
No,
it is
yeah,
done.
See, this
If
is
I
where the
could-
love come in. You need that space.
If I can,
Right.
if I
Absolutely.
Can the
She
wall.
lucky she got it right now. She in Arizona actually. I'm in New York. So she got her space right now. Take all the time you need to get that out your system before you come back.
She said, "I'm single, B." She said, "I am single."
I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing this. Serious face now.
Miss Kim said she could join. She could join her episode. Listen, y'all. Make sure that you follow us on everything that we're on. Make sure you give us a shout out on all of your social media. Y'all are the whale. Again, our hashtag is the whale is you. Anytime that you throw us out there, give us a shout out. Make sure you hashtag the whale is you. That is our hashtag because the whale is you. Listen, super producer Jackie, Amplify Network, we love you. We thank you.
Hey.
Next August, get ready. We are going in deep, pun not intended. We're going to talk about sex.
Wow. Yo, I'm out of that one. See y'all next week. I'm going to see y'all
Love
next
y'all.
week.
See y'all next week. Peace out.
Yo, you ain't right for that.